This is the Chrissie Swan Show.
And as I always say, Jack, a problem shared is a problem halved. And
Retweet.
I love to give advice, and I think I'm quite good at it.
Absolutely.
We've had a message from one of the beautiful Chrissie Swan Show listeners who has a dilemma, a problem, and she wants to talk to us about it, and who are we to say no? She has asked that we don't use her name, so I'm going to introduce her now to you. And hello, Anon.
Hello, Chrissie and Jack. How are you?
Hi. Please
Anon.
do not, for just starters, do not sound frightened or scared, because if there's one thing I know in life is that everyone's got issues that they can't solve. That is a common human thing, all right?
Thank you so much.
Now, tell us what is going on in your life, please.
Okay, I'm in my early 50s. I've just come out as being gay.
Mm-hmm.
My partner is in her early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 children. They're all adults.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to 2 of them, and they've been fine. But my other one, I'm too scared to say anything because I don't know how she'll react to it.
Mm-hmm.
My partner also is in the dilemma of not being able to tell family or friends either because of the age difference. We're very much in love.
How long have you been together?
It's only been 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we talk every day. We have so much in common. And we've sort of don't know. I need some advice on how do I talk to the family and friends, and of course,
Can I
my
ask?
daughter.
It's always hard when you've got to tell the truth about yourself, about anything.
Yes,
And what are you afraid of?
rejection.
Who is going to reject you? Your youngest child?
Yeah, and family and friends of both of ours as well.
Can I ask, Anon, is there much of a difference between your 3 kids? Because obviously with your 2 older children who are in their 30s, I'm assuming it went well, the conversation went well.
Yes, they didn't really say much. One of them was very good about it. She jokes about it, but my other one has not said anything. He's just, he doesn't like to have confrontation, so he just doesn't say anything. So I haven't really actually spoken to him in full to go, are you happy about this, or are you just keeping quiet because of me?
Do you think that's added to the anxiety now then of telling your youngest child?
Yes. We've spoke about it coming out, but we're at the same time, we're afraid of rejection from family and friends.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but you have no choice, because I'm also a woman in my early 50s with 3 kids, and I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I've never had to come out, but I know what it's like to live an entire life putting yourself and your needs and your truth last.
Yes.
And I think you are at a crossroads now. You've raised your kids. By the looks of things, they're in their 30s. They're grown-ups. You've done that. You've got them to where they can have their own life. And I think you need to look around now and go, if I don't be myself now, then I'm going to live my whole life in service to other people. And that's not happy. That's not a happy way to be.
It's not. But I think the age gap is what's holding us back as well, because it is such a big age gap. People may look at it that way instead of looking at that there's two people in love.
Because
So we
your
have that-
partner is the sort of the same age as your kids.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I've been in that situation. My dad married someone much younger than him, and it was no issue. And the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how these people.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's where you need to get to. You're not there yet, but you will get there. And I would suggest writing somewhere where your kids can't see it, particularly the youngest one.
Yes.
Writing sentences that tell your truth as succinctly as possible. No flowery language. And then you read that over, you write it and write it until you get the sentence brief and to the point. And then you take that sentence and you look in the mirror and you say it. And then after that, you do that to your child and then you just wait.
Yep.
So for example, your sentence might be, hang on, do they know that your partner is in your life but she's just a friend or?
Yes. The two oldest ones know she's in my life.
And they
The
know
youngest
that
one
you're in
knows
a
nothing.
loving relationship, but the youngest one, it's not going to be like, oh, Tracy, she's not just my friend from Bridge, she's my girlfriend. So your youngest one doesn't know her at all?
No,
Okay.
no.
How do your kids get along, the three of them?
Good when they're all together, but they're all separate. But everyone lives in different areas. So
Okay. Well, I'll
trying to get together. It's only Christmas times, I think.
I'll tell you what I did. I had some fairly serious life-changing news to tell my kids a couple of years ago. And I initially thought, I'll tell them all when they're together.
Yeah.
And I was as nervous as hell because, your whole life is dedicated to making these people's lives easy and comfortable and never doing anything to upset them. The world is rough enough without something disappointing or confrontational happening in their home. So I put it off. And then I thought, no, I've got to do this. And I was going to tell them all at once. And then I realised, looking at their faces when I was just about to do it, I thought, oh no, I can't do that. Everybody's got a different relationship with me. And everyone's at different stages and everyone's got different personalities. And what I would say to the eldest is not what I would say to the youngest. So I had to abort mission. And then I picked them off like a sniper later on, like when one was coming out the backyard or when was, I singled them out. Now, you've done your two oldest ones.
Yes.
So you need to think, well, would this be easier and less confrontational if I just tell my youngest child on their own? Or do you do a lamb shoulder and say, oh, look, I've, youngest one, I've got something to tell you. I've already told your brother and sister. And then they can indirectly support you because then there's three people that know what's going on in the room, not just you.
Yeah.
The Chrissie Swan Show. The Chrissie Swan Show.
How do we go about my partner? That's also our issue of her coming out. She
Okay,
has
so
said that she just wants to be happy and in love, but she's feeling the same sort of thing. What are people going to say to her in regards to not only having a lesbian relationship, but such an age gap is the biggest issue. because
You guys just need to get over it.
Yeah, Anon, I promise that the age gap is not as big of a deal as you think it is. I appreciate in your scenario right now, it would feel like the biggest deal in the world, but it's really not. Chrissie and I were literally having the conversation a few days ago about how in this exact age bracket you're in, 30 to 50 to even 55, it all sort of seems the same once you're an adult.
Yeah.
Like I've got some best friends that are about to turn 40. Chrissie's one of my closest friends. There's like a bigger age gap between us. I promise you in 2024, I really don't think your kids are going to be rocked by the age gap. I really don't.
I hope so. I really appreciate your advice, Chrissie and Jack, because it's been a dilemma for a while, probably the last 5 months. And we just want to make it work, but we feel like there's boundaries that's stopping us from being happy.
Yeah, and they are not your concern.
Yep.
I'll tell you another little story. I got to 45, so, 5-6 years ago. And I looked around and I thought, is this it? Am I really going to continue on living like this? Pleasing everybody, doing stuff I don't want to do, finding myself in rooms I don't want to be in, all of that. Is that what I'm doing? And I did it all my life. You've probably done it all your life too, because we're 70s, 80s girls,
Yes. Yes.
But it takes a lot of bravery and honesty with yourself to look around at 51 and go, actually, I'm going to change things. I'm going to change it. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say what I want. You probably only got 35 years left. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Be happy, or at least be yourself.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And Non, your kids, two things that I've just been thinking as you and Chrissie have been talking. Your kids are your kids. There is, in my opinion, no love like a mother and their children. There's really not. And I think even if they're initially shocked or they might be a bit weird about it, I promise one day they will come around to it and they will just want to see you happy.
Of course.
And second of all, even if it all were to go tits up right, you and your girlfriend have each other and you are not alone. There's a love of one another there where you can lean on each other and support on each other. So you will always have that too. And that makes
Thank
you happy.
So much.
And if you can say to your kids things like, nothing, this is the truth of it. This is my sexuality. It was never okay for me to come out in the 70s and 80s. I had to do what I had to do. I love you guys. I'm your mother forever. If you can tell them that nothing is going to change, that's what kids want to hear.
Yeah.
And then you spend the rest of the next 3 or 4 years proving that statement.
Yeah.
Every day you stick to your word that nothing is going to change, that you have not changed, that your relationship with them has not changed, that your role as their mother has not changed. Eventually they will see that and they will realise that.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your advice.
This weekend, Anon, I want you to work on that sentence.
Thank you, I will.
And just say, imagine you're sitting at the table with your youngest child and say, I've got something to tell you. And, you might be surprised or shocked. And trust me, I was when I realised that this was happening. But have you always known that you were gay, or is this a... No.
No, only been the last 6 months.
Wow.
Do you know what? I would say I have met someone and in a great surprise to me, it's a woman. And then you just be quiet.
That's a great sentence. That's a really good sentence.
Great one.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
I've met someone. And,
That is perfect.
And that's the truth. It is a surprise to you. She is a woman and you are in love with her.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with any of those elements in that sentence.
Yeah.
And then you and your daughter can almost share in that feeling together of being surprised. Because you're also still going through that surprise, Anon, of like, wow, I'm into a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, she's amazing. She makes me so happy and feel alive again. And that's what I need, to feel alive again. And she's done that for me.
And imagine how incredible it will be when it's not a secret.
I know, that's all we want.
Because shame will kill you. Shame is the worst. And that means that you're choosing everyone else's happiness over your own.
That's what's happening now, yes.
You must stop it. You must.
5 months is too long to have gone on like that as well. That's nearly half a year feeling that.
Yeah. We can keep on saying, okay, another month,
No.
when we're still in the same boat. Just hiding and not being able to, go out as a couple or spend each other home as a couple. It's always individuals and only get to hold hands when we're in the room alone, or to touch each other when we're in the room alone.
Oh, my God.
And it's really, really hard. It is hard when you love someone and you want to express the love to them and you can't.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, you can't be all over her in front of your kids because that's gross.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's gross.
PDA full stop is a no.
That's gross. If it was a man, if it was a woman, it doesn't matter.
Your dog.
Nobody wants to see mum smooching with their girlfriend in the kitchen. Okay, so that's never going to happen, but there needs to be an honesty around you two so you can enjoy this. It's so rare to meet somebody you like and that likes you back.
No.
Now, this weekend, you've got some homework. Exactly. You've got some homework.
Yeah.
You are going to write down some sentences that express with curiosity and pride, not with shame, what your situation is. You must never apologise for this to anybody. You mustn't say, I'm sorry for what I'm about to tell you. You mustn't. You've got nothing to apologise for.
Oh, my God, thank you so much.
You just distill
it. You have no idea how much this means to me from you.
I know, and you must have felt so lonely as well with a big problem like this.
Yes. And after hearing Kylie Kwong, it's like, I needed to ring up and see what I could do.
And the great thing about Kylie Kwong's story, and I think you will find this in yours, is that people are very accepting of things like this, A. And B, if they're not, they come around pretty quickly like Kylie Kwong's dad.
Yeah.
Because they realise that you are you and nothing changes. And if they like you today and they need you today, they're going to need you tomorrow, no matter who you're kissing or no matter who you're in love with. That is completely irrelevant.
Thank you so much, Chrissie. Thank you, Jack.
I'm going to be calling you on Monday and I'm going to check on your homework with a red pen.
Okay.
All right. I want those sentences and we're going to do a little role play and I'm going to be your daughter and, I might toss my hair and go, oh, my God, gross. Yuck. But we are going to get you to a point where you sound like you do now, joyous and happy. And this is an amazing surprise that you never saw coming, not sad and apologetic and making excuses for how you feel.
Thank you. I better get my work going.
Talk to you next week.
Thank you, Chrissie.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
The Chrissie Swan Show. The Chrissie Swan Show.
This time yesterday, we met Anon, who was really struggling with her late term same-sex relationship.
Yeah.
Was married, had kids. He passed away and she has found absolutely a surprise to herself that she is in love with a woman.
And she revealed to us yesterday, Swanee, not only is she nervous about telling her youngest daughter that she's in love with a woman, but also about the age gap
Yes.
in that relationship. And we are going to check in again with her now.
Anon. Hello, Anon.
Hello, Chrissie. How are you?
Oh, I am so good. Have your ears been burning? Because I've been thinking about you.
I've been thinking about you too, with everything that we spoke about. It's been very difficult for myself to say the words that I wanted to say to family.
Yeah, great.
Friends.
Don't rush it. That's what I've been thinking about. I was cleaning my bathroom. Don't do anything until you believe it, until you believe that you are doing nothing wrong, because kids sniff insecurity and unsureness.
So I spoke to my daughter on the phone, and so many times I just wanted to say it, and I thought to myself, no, I'll wait until I see her face to face and have a chat with her.
Did putting together the sentence help, the mantra that I do?
Yes. Your words were so inspiring that actually, when I got off the phone to you last time, I was like, I can actually do this. So I did the exercises that you said, and it really, really helped. The more I was saying it, the more I felt in myself that I have the power.
Yes.
And not the insecurity of what backlash am I going to
Yes.
get. And
isn't it a miracle how that happens?
It was. And something my partner had said to me was, yeah, we can do this. And I said, and I think that we need to do it together.
Even with your daughter, Anon, are you going to tell her with your partner, or would you do her just alone, the two of you?
I had first thought I'd do it myself. She has heard of me speak about my partner in the past.
Okay.
But that was more of just a friend. I'm still deciding whether to have my partner there present when we tell her.
I think it'd be better if it was just you telling her.
Yeah.
Because having someone there that isn't your mum, that will colour her reaction. She'll either
be guarded.
She'll either be really guarded, or she'll go real vicious because she'll feel cornered. And either way, that's not the real thing. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you didn't ask for this advice, but I would keep it casual with her. And also, to have your partner there, it makes it feel like, you're telling them that you're dying, or, there's something really serious. This actually isn't that serious. The heart wants what it wants.
Yeah, and I think the age gap is the biggest thing as well. So, but my other two children didn't care whatsoever. They open up every time we go and visit them.
This is the thing. I really don't think you're going to have a problem. The other thing I want to leave, we are going to check in with you again.
Please do.
But I would also park in your very busy brain at the moment the option of a sibling, another one of your children, pulling your youngest one aside, particularly because she's the baby. I feel like it would be absolutely acceptable for my sister to say, listen, have you heard about Mum? That, she's got some news and she's feeling really bad about it. She's feeling really weird about it. And I've told her it's fine. She's going to tell you tomorrow, but I wanted to give you the heads up. Her friend is actually her girlfriend. Sometimes if your big sister says it's okay, or your big brother, you go with that.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, maybe think about that. And then
not quite a cop out. But
it's not. It's not a cop out. It's absolutely not a cop out. I don't know if you had brothers and sisters, but we do that all the time. It's like, have you heard Mum's news? Has Dad told you? That's that's what happens, and then they do all the hard work for you.
Yeah.
Give it a crack.
And I promise, Anon, the age gap will not be an issue with your youngest. I really am promising you that. I know you've got that in your head still.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris.
All right. Well, till next time.
You're amazing, guys. Thank you.
The Chrissie Swan Show.
It's Anon time. We've really loved getting to know her and watching her voice change with every passing conversation that we've had with her. And we've had very, very, very many. Today's the last time we're going to check in with Anon, and maybe you might get a happy ending.
Fingers crossed, Swanee.
Anon, great to have you back in our ears again. How are you going?
I'm good, thank you, Chrissie. How are you?
Good. You sound relieved, or am I imagining it?
No, relief is an understatement. To actually listen to you and Jack has been phenomenal. I've listened to everything that you've said. I've put your words into actions and it was just amazing. I spoke to my youngest daughter. She was a bit hesitant at first, but after speaking to her and explaining how my love for my partner was there, she knew of my partner previously, but it just sealed the deal and was a big shock for her. But she said to me, look, Mum, as long as you're happy, then I'm happy. As long as she makes you happy, then I'm happy. That's all that matters.
Oh, this is the best outcome.
So good, Anon. And what about the age gap? You were so worried about that.
I was. She didn't care. She said
told
everyone deserves to be happy. And
Oh, my God.
yeah, and even my partner told her father and her family. And it was the biggest relief for both of us. We can now actually be in the same room and feel like we can actually hold hands or give a cuddle or just show affection without having to hide. And that's what it's been for 6 months, if not longer.
Oh,
So-
I've got so many questions. First, where exactly were you when you told your youngest daughter? And we workshopped so many different scenarios and options for you. Which one did you go with?
Well, we were actually out for her husband's 30th birthday, so we were in the city. So I was walking my grandson along South Bank, and I said to her, I need to talk to you sometime today. And she said, oh, what's up? And I said, no, a bit later. And she goes, no, what's up? We'll talk now. So I proceeded to tell her, and she sort of just looked at me, and I thought, oh, gosh, I've just ruined the day. but she was, she just said, oh, okay, all right, then, yep. And then I said, have you got any questions? And she said, no, not just yet, but are you happy? And I said, of course I am.
Oh, I love this.
then,
I love this. Sick. The truth will set you free. My second question is, now that your partner's family knows and your family knows, what is it like when you remember every few minutes that you don't need to hide? That would have become such a strong muscle memory.
Oh, you have no idea. We just keep on messaging each other when we can, when we're not seeing each other. And just so we just can't believe it. We're like on cloud nine to actually feel that we can be together without the fear or, just looking at each other without the fear of somebody looking at us, like, well, what are those two up to?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so to actually look at her in the eyes and tell her that I love her and she can say it back and just feels like the whole world is lifted off my shoulders. And
God, it's a brand new beginning for you. I love this.
It's so exciting, Anon. And Anon, how have your other kids felt now that your youngest knows? Are they relieved as well for you?
Yeah, they are actually. My son sort of said, well, it didn't matter if she didn't approve, Mum. Oh. She said, you love your partner and that's all that matters.
This is magical.
So
absolutely magical. Thank you so much for thinking of us in your time of desperation and sadness and need, Anon. We've so loved helping you and being there for you and understanding where you're coming from.
And Anon, you would have inspired so many other people listening over the few days as well. So well done for being brave enough for sharing, because it's really amazing.
Yeah.
You guys have been amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to have the courage to do it if it wasn't for you guys and to open up your hearts and give me advice where we both needed it. And I think your advice and encouragement sort of helped us come out for ourselves.
It sounds like you guys are going to need some massage oils and face. I'm going to send you a couple of Priceline Pharmacy vouchers, lovers.
That would be beautiful.
Love you, Anon. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jack. Thank you so much, Chrissie.
Now check this out.
The Chrissie Swan Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.